Proud of the guys finding a way to win. And, I just said to them, when you hit, we're past mid-January, which is crazy to think that, but we're past mid-January. When you hit that point in January, it's just about finding a way to win the game. And they did that tonight. They just found a way. Shots weren't falling. Things weren't going the way we wanted them to go. We go down, I think it was 7 in the second half, and you just find a way. You just find a way to grind it out. And, guys that things weren't going their way individually, just found a way to make one more play for us. And we get a tough, hard-earned conference win, this time of year. Just got to go win.
They take that 43-36 lead after, I think, an 11-0 run early in that second half. What's the message to the guys there, and how did y'all turn it around after that?
Yeah, we just got away from the things that we wanted to do. The ball was sticking too much. Again, the shots don't go in, and then all of a sudden it's well, let me just see if I can. No, and we talked about it at halftime too. You're 0.5 where you hold it, and the next guy's 0.5, and then the third guy's 0.5, and then the fourth guy's 0.5. Well, that all adds up, right? So just flowing the ball, moving the ball, and then tightening up on the defensive end. We let them get loose a couple times. We let a couple broken plays happen, and then getting on the glass. We got 8 offensive rebounds in the second half. We shoot 36% in the first half and get 3 offensive rebounds. We shoot 50% in the second half and get 8 offensive rebounds, right? On less shots. We took 3 less shots. So we got 13 points off of those second chance points. That changes the game. It's a difference in the game. And our energy was just better. They were getting loose balls. We were a little bit late too. We were a half step behind. And then we were able to flip that and flip the game.
Also, I think it was a week ago today, we asked you about Tyrell and his progression over the season. Him playing 23-ish minutes?
22, yeah, almost 23, yeah.
What was the decision to have him play so much today, and then what did you see from him between last Monday and this Monday?
Well, it was not necessarily on my bingo card to have him play 23 minutes today, but again, he has been progressing nicely. He's been playing better and better and better and more confident. And it's not even he makes a couple shots today, but it's just the energy that he's playing with now. Back to being himself, back to flying around and making some things happen. So really what today, Bam got his 3rd foul in the second half, so that cut into his minutes a little bit. We found something with Mike Bell at the 5, in this game. You could tell they were uncomfortable trying to guard him. We went to it early to kind of see, and then that opened up obviously a bunch of minutes at that spot, at those wing spots, and we needed Tyrell, and he gave us great minutes, including I just told him that I never saw that off the backboard and wall up play before, but that was a hell of a play.
Coach, you mentioned Michael Bell at the 5. I wonder, when you got here, did you realize he could play the 5, and how's that developed this season?
Yeah, we did. That was something we saw early on. They did a little bit last year, or the last couple of years with him. They've done that. He's so damn strong, right? He's so strong. And the reality is, there's not that many 5-men. Ogabor played well for them, but he's not posting up. They're not throwing it to him in the post. So Mike gives us an advantage because he can switch onto the guards and guard the guards. When we're switching, if he's getting posted, Mitchell from Bonaventure was trying to post him up, and he didn't need any help. And that dude's as big as strong, and he's a real post player. Mike's one of those Swiss Army knives. Where do you need him, right? What do you need to do with him? Where do you need him? He's playing with a lot of confidence, and he should. And the one thing I know about him is wherever we put him, something's going to happen. It's the 4, it's the 5, it's the 3, it's the – I don't know if we play him at the 1, but, wherever you put him, whatever you put him on, hey, you're going to go – he's guarded everybody. He's guarded 5'10" jitterbug guards. He's guarded, 6'10" giant centers. There's not a whole lot that he doesn't respond to.
On the offensive end for Mike, he career high 20 points. On that end of improvement, especially shooting this season, what have you seen develop?
Well, again, just the confidence, and it's funny because he didn't. Yesterday, he missed a bunch of layups in practice, and I was like, "What is going on?" We've gotten past that. That hasn't happened in a while. it's just the work. It's not, there's no secrets to this thing. Like, it's the work you put in, and the time you put in, eventually it builds up. And it doesn't mean, like Brandon on Saturday night, my daughter had a game, I dropped Philip off here. After the game, he wanted to work out in the BDC. I walked in, dropped Philip off, and Brandon's in there shooting on the gun, the shooting machine, not like a gun, but a shooting, it's called the gun. So he's on there getting shots. So come back to get Philip, I don't even know how much later. And that was pretty late. My daughter had a game at like 7 o'clock, so it was probably 9:30 when I dropped him off, come back around 11 o'clock, and Brandon's still in there shooting. Well, that doesn't mean like you're going to go 4 for 4 in the game, but it damn sure helps. And, you put in that work and eventually it comes. So for Mike, like, he's just put in so much work. He should be, like, I tell him all the time, like, you should be confident. You've put in a lot of time. You've worked really hard. You should be a confident player. And it's great to see it for him.
Coach, I asked Terrence up here with the history that you, your brother, Ryan, Jadrian have with St. Joe's. Terrence said you told him a little bit about that this week. Even if it wasn't much, what did you let him know about your history?
Yeah, they asked at one point, just, because they're hearing it, right? Like, they hear people talking. With all these games we play, there's connections. Some are deeper than others, right? Like, I'll go back to Niagara. I spent 5 years, very formidable years at Niagara, like very important years of my life were at Niagara. So to play them, yeah, there's a different feeling than playing, Sanford. I didn't really have a connection. Lenny Acuff, their coach, I knew well, but didn't really have a connection there. But, you play Niagara, and that means something. Like, we spent a lot of time wearing purple. We spent a lot of time in that gym, right? So certainly for our family, like, yeah, we spent a lot of time there. And, maybe there's deeper connection. But I told them, like, the game is the game. Like, it didn't change. Like, our prep didn't change. Practice didn't change. My film routine didn't change. Nothing changed, because the most important thing is the 94 by 50 is to go win the game, right, in between those lines. But, yeah, I mean, there's obviously a lot of memories there. But, you make those connections. We happen to be through St. Joe's, but, I mean, we had 3 former players watch practice yesterday, not including me and Ryan, who were on the court, but 3 former players, former St. Joe's players, who were here to support us. I heard from a lot of former teammates leading up to this game, wishing us well. Like, it's those individual connections. Like, yeah, whatever the school says, or the jerseys, all that, is something. But there was a lot of people, with those connections. And quite frankly, like, I'd love to see it get resolved at some point in time. I will speak very, frankly about that. It should get resolved. A wrong should be righted. How that is, I just said on the radio, they asked me about that. I'm like, bad assistants just tell you what's wrong, just what needs to be fixed. Good assistants tell you what the fix is. I don't really have the fix, so I'm a bad assistant right now. But it should be. Like, we go to Davidson on Saturday. Bob McKillop's name is on that court. Phil Martelli's name should be on that court. It should be. Winningest coach in school history. All due respect to Jack Ramsey, to all the great coaches, Jim Lynam, everybody. But he's the best coach in school history, and should be honored that way. Should be honored. Now, how that gets fixed and how, I don't know, but it should. It should. And, he should have a banner. We go to George Mason and Jim Larinaga's name is hanging in the rafters. Yeah, he should have that same thing, right? He should have that same thing. He should be in the Hall of Fame. He should be in the Big Five Hall of Fame. Like, all those things, like, should happen and need to happen. Now, when and how and all that, I don't have the true answer. But as candidly as I can speak, it should get resolved. And there are some in our camp that probably very much agree with that. There's probably some that maybe don't, but that's just my opinion on it. And, there was too much built there and on his back. And he would never take the credit individually for it, but he built a hell of a program and should be honored in the right fashion.
Coach, in that same vein, I saw your dad sitting in the crowd behind the bench. Just what was it like for you to know that your dad was sitting right behind you, and what were the emotions of the game?
Yeah, it's always great having him. My mom was here too. My mom's back there. She sat through way too many of these press conferences in her lifetime. But that's actually my mom. It looks like my sister, but it's my mom. But the anytime they're there, it means a ton. And they've been at every home game except Bonaventure because he had TV. But I got to experience the reverse. I got to sit in those stands and watch him do his thing and create incredible amount of memories. And I hope we're doing the same the other way. And it's a cool perspective to see. Like it is really to be able to know what that felt like sitting in those stands, living and dying with every dribble, knowing that you couldn't really control it. And I don't know how he was today. I know one of the recent games he was a little bit, he's usually pretty quiet. He was a little feisty today, I guess. He's been a little feisty in some of the games with the referees. So he needs to stop with that. He needs to stop with that and focus on the game. But I can't say that I'd be lying if I said there weren't many times in those games where I was doing the same thing. So, but it's cool. It's really cool to be able to do this as a family and build these memories, not just with my parents, but with my brother here and the nieces and nephews and our kids and down the line.
You touched on it briefly with Davis on Saturday. How do you bottle up this game and take it down there to continue this swing?
Yeah, I mean, we'll do our normal thing. Like, we'll get together tomorrow, be a lighter day. We'll do our film. We'll kind of learn. We'll break it down. There's plenty to learn from. Hey, why was the ball sticking? Here's some possessions where it didn't stick and we got great shots. Here's some possessions where we're a little bogged down and, the same on the defensive end. Here's some possessions where, hey, we really guarded the right way, and then some where we didn't, and just trying to figure out, what those little tweaks are. Davidson's a good team, and just had a good win at GW, and we'll be ready to play, I'm sure.
Coach, so Adjabor had 6 blocks. A few of those early on where he really did, stuff the guys. How do you convince them to keep attacking and to try to finish above him?
Well, the first half he had 2, and we were in there tentative too much. I'm sorry. So really it was just like, just go. Like, if he blocks your shot, he blocks your shot. Like, one thing about getting your shot blocked is if you go and miss a layup, everyone's like, oh, man, you missed a layup. If he goes and blocks a shot, it's like, oh, man, that was a great block. So just go to finish. Like I think Bam got blocked. He tried to go. Good, go at him. If he blocks your shot, he blocks your shot. But in the first half, we had a couple, like, we're hesitant, we're holding on to it, and then we're missing a layup that we were, I think, 6 for 15 on 2s in the first half. Like, we shouldn't be 6 for 15. Like, we're too good a finishing team to be doing that. So get in there and go finish. And we did that in the second half. And he blocked our shot 4 times, but, we ended up going 10 for 18 on 2s, and was a big reason why we were able to win the game. And got fouled a couple times because we were going in there to attack, not going in worried about getting our shot blocked.
The assist numbers looked really good today, especially in the first half. 10 assists on 12 made shots. What was that? You telling them to move the ball around more, or was that just them moving it better?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's learning. What I've told them is my favorite professor, so we'll tie back to St. Joe's. My favorite professor, Dr. Richard George, was a marketing professor. He had a book and taught out of his book in one of his classes, and it was called Success Leaves Clues. So we've had success. What are the clues to our success? Well, when we're moving the ball and the assist numbers are high, we're pretty damn good on offense. I said damn a lot in this one. I don't know why. But that's a clue, right? Like there's success in that. So we have to use that. And again, I said to them at halftime, like, we've got 10 assists on 12 baskets, and the ball stuck too much. Imagine what we could be doing, if we were moving that thing the right way. So, it's always an emphasis with us. Because, again, like, there should be, if we run offense the right way, we're creating an advantage somewhere. And sometimes you can't always say, this is going to be the advantage. It's going to be this guy wide open. No, it might be swing. I mean, one of my favorite plays was T. Hill getting it in front of their bench, one more to Tyrell. Then Brandon gets the same thing in the second half away from our bench. Like, those are really good plays. And it just so happens that the ball goes in at a higher rate when you make those plays. It just does, for whatever reason. Good basketball gods, there's a lot of different ways that people will tell you. But when you make those right plays, the ball goes in at a pretty high rate. And when we're shooting it and really, really scoring it, that's what's happening.
To that point, do you see Terrence growing as a distributor, career high 8 assists for him in this one? As teams key off on him defensively, do you see him getting better and better about setting teammates up?
Yeah, he's been pretty good with that all the way through, to be honest with you. Like, he had pretty high assist numbers, like our summer stuff. We stat everything live. Not only have his shooting numbers been high, but his assist numbers have been high throughout the year. Again, it's just making the right play. Like, you're open, shoot the ball. If you're not, find the guy that is. Like, once you get 2 to the ball, somebody's open. So, with him, it's been, okay, he's a shooter, right? He comes out of the gates and he's drilling shots early in the year, and everybody's like, all right, he's a shooter. And then it's like, all right, well, he can play out the bounce, and he's finishing around the rim, and now he's a scorer. No, he's just a really good basketball player, right? So, yeah, it's funny with him, like, watching and shoot around, like, he couldn't make a shot and shoot around. I was like, man, he's not going to shoot the ball well tonight. I don't know why, I just had that feeling, and 2 for 8 is obviously not his mean, but had a huge impact on that game. And 3 steals for a guy that was, calling it what it was, like early in the year was a defensive liability for us, but goes and gets 3 steals, right? So, yeah, I mean, he's just a really confident player. He's confident with the ball in his hands. His teammates are confident with the ball in his hands, and I can tell you that his coach is very confident with the ball in his hands, as long as we keep making the right play.
Do like one more.
By the way, I'm going to say this. Megan is so impressed that you say thank you after every question. She says that all the time. She does. She says that to me all the time. I don't watch these back. She does because she's a psycho, but she says that to me all the time. She says, Zach always says, Zach always says thank you. I said, yeah, I know. What's funny, though, I will tell you this quick story. So my grandfather, who was at every game, my grandfather traveled to every game with my dad. When the day my dad got the job in July of '95, he retired from his job, and the 2 things he did is he took care of my great-grandfather in South Philly, video pop, so he'd go take care of him and he'd go to practice. He'd be at every practice. He'd sit up there and never say a word. And then he would, he'd travel, go to every game. He'd sit up there, he was on every trip all the way through. My dad has told the story when he passed that year and they came back, like, incredible tribute here and, not shocking with the way that this place is run. But he would say thank you to everybody after every game. Win, lose, did not matter. He would, he'd chase guys out to the parking lot to make sure he said thank you to them. Players, coaches, the people that kept the book, like the managers, the TV people. He would say thank you to everybody. So you made me think of that, so thank you for that. Sorry, I hijacked my own press conference again.
It's your show. Thank you, Bill.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.